Welcome to Talk Travel with Heather Tate, North Mississippi's podcast for savvy travelers. Talk Travel with Heather Tate is a weekly podcast that airs every Monday on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi, and is then released as a podcast. Travel advisor and travel enthusiast Heather Tate of Whimsical Destinations gives listeners expert travel tips curated through the years of personal and professional experience. By clicking subscribe, you'll have a new travel tip to add to your collection delivered to your podcast library every Monday. Talk Travel with Heather Tate is brought to you by Sun Bear Studio. Sun Bear Studio is a boutique recording studio in the heart of Ripley, Mississippi. When you record with us at Sun Bear Studio, we can mix, master, register, and publish your music, your podcast, or your family story. Email us when you're ready at sunbear@jc.media.
This program was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
Good morning, Northeast Mississippi travelers. This is Heather with Talk Travel with Heather Tate, and I'm so excited to share my adventures and tried and true tips with you, whether you are also a seasoned traveler, a hopeful traveler, or currently an armchair traveler, meaning you're going to follow along with us from home for now. This is our 136th episode of Talk Travel with Heather Tate, and it is going to be a very special episode because we have a special guest with us, Becca Findason of Fishing Bear, Alaska. Becca, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Heather. I really appreciate it.
Well, I know our listeners are going to be very excited, and so we're just going to dive right in, and I want them to know who you are, your resorts that you represent, and how they can find out more information about you. So first off, tell us a little bit about Fishing Bear, Alaska, where it is and what it is.
So Fishing Bear, Alaska is a all-inclusive fishing resort located in the teeny tiny town of Tenakee Springs, Alaska. And we offer 6-day, 4 fishing days, all-inclusive fishing. So that means you fly into Tenakee Springs, we meet you at the plane, we bring you to our lodge where you stay for the 6 days, and then we get you set up and ready to go for a self-guided fishing adventure for 4 days, which means you come to our lodge and we set you up with a boat and you go out essentially on your own to explore with assistance, of course. We are here for, my husband and myself run the business, so we're here for support in any way that you need, and we're always close by.
Well, I think this is going to be an amazing opportunity, and what I love is when we talked earlier, I found out that you have a strong Mississippi connection. Tell us what that is.
I sure do. So my husband is from Ocean Springs. Well, his family is from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. His great uncle is Walter Anderson, who is an infamous artist in the Long Beach, Ocean Springs area.
Yes, I know that name. I do. That is so interesting. And we connected happenstance. I really believe that we were meant to connect. And after I talked to you that first time, I just knew, I was like, this is a very special place that I think our listeners here in Mississippi who love wildlife, fishing, adventures, and I have so many requests about Alaska, and most of them tend to be cruises for a first-time visitor. But what I like is that you offer something very unique, and it is a completely different experience than if you're going on a ship with thousands of other people. So tell us a little bit about the lodge. How many people can go, and what size group you accommodate?
We have 4 rooms, and each room either has a bed that can fit 2 people in it or it has 2 beds in it. So we can have up to 7 guests right now in the lodge comfortably. We do have other accommodations available if we need, but right now we're taking about groups of 7 people.
And this is your first year to launch, correct? Like you and your husband?
Correct. So we are actually taking over a fishing charter business from, and I grew up in Tenakee Springs where we have the lodge. So we are taking over a business for one of our people in our community, and he's looking to retire, and he wanted to hand it off to, someone to keep it successful. So they're helping us out along the way and kind of, walking hand in hand with us on this journey of transition, and it's been a real special experience.
I think that's amazing. And I know that you had mentioned before when we talked that there's about 100 people year-round that live in Tenakee Springs. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's part of what makes Teneke so unique and so special is you get a real taste of like authentic rural Alaska.
Oh, I love that. And a lot of our listeners are from rural Mississippi. So sometimes like a mega ship with thousands of people aren't going to be what they're really interested in anyways. They're going to want this, like you said, authentic experience with lots of character that's very customizable. And there are other things to do. And this is something that I was very interested in. And you told me so many things that you can do. What if you're not a fisherman? Like, what if that is like you want to go and see Alaska and you think this would be great, but maybe you don't know if this would be right for you because fishing is not one of your favorite hobbies? What else can you do in the town?
That's exactly right. And this is one thing I'm really passionate and excited about. As somebody who was born and raised on the ocean, I currently live in a state that's 90% ocean. I also get seasick. So my passion is doing outdoor activities around the town. So we're really excited to offer a package that's more of like an eco-adventure. We have accessibility to the boat, so we can go out on the boat, we can go fishing, but we can also go on beautiful hikes throughout town. There's a huge suspension bridge over a river. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's bears all over the place that you can watch from a safe distance. Yeah, we have some bear tours. We have people in our community that we team up with that offer yoga classes, massage. They offer acupuncture. We have my favorite, and honestly, probably the biggest highlight of coming to Teneke is our natural mineral hot springs that is in the middle of town. It's 106 degrees all year round.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
yeah, it's a very healing. It's like a spa just for you with no time crunch on getting out. It's amazing.
And you haven't even touched on what I think is the most amazing part yet, and that's the whale watching opportunity here.
Oh, yes. I can't believe I forgot that. Yes. The whales would walk me to school in the morning. We have the most amazing whale shows out there. There's 3 different kinds of whales that come through, but the prominent ones are humpback whales. They come and they just stay and they feed because we have 13 rivers that feed into our inlet. It's safe waters, it's calm, and the fish love to be there. And there's no major fishing. And so naturally, because or along the same lines that we like to be there fishing, so do the whales. They come in and they eat their bait and their krill and they breach, and you get to see them grow. They come in with babies one year and then they're a little bit bigger and older the next year. It's an experience.
I mean, that sounds magical. It really does. And so even though the fishing, and I want you to talk a little bit about the fishing, because for some people that's going to be their true incentive. What type of fishing will they do? Like, will your guests do if they come?
So, and we are doing saltwater deep sea fishing, which in Southeast Alaska looks like halibut and salmon, but it's not limited to that. We also have a plentiful bounty of rockfish and black cod fishing. Those are just kind of the 4 of the big main species, but people really go there to target halibut and salmon.
And they can even take it back home with them, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So we go, once you bring the boat back in, we process all the fish, we freeze it, we vacuum seal it, and we package it away and get it ready to send with you on your journey home. And we help you facilitate all of that as well.
That is
the logistics of how to get it home.
So the part that I'm really interested in, and we talked a lot about this, is that this can also be a family-friendly environment, and that you can bring older kids, right? Like, didn't we talk about, like, what age do you think this would appeal to and up?
Yes. So we're looking at about, every kid is different. So
right.
I think that's up to the parents' discretion. But we are looking at about 8 years old and up. Like, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I think that she would do well, but probably not for the whole week. But we're customizable like that. If you want to go fishing one day and not the other day, or if you want to go, only fishing for a half day and come back in, or whatever it is, we can make it totally custom to your needs as a family.
The season is shorter in Alaska for this. So what time of year, we know it's going to be the summer, but what months do you operate Fishing Bear Alaska for guests?
We operate June 1st through September 15th.
Awesome. So like we told our listeners, it's not too late to get in on this year, but also not too early if they want to plan ahead for next year, 2026, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're taking bookings, and we are partially booked for parts of 2026. So the sooner the better.
That's awesome. Thank you, Becca. Again, listeners, thank you for tuning in this week. Remember, whatever you do, life is a great adventure. Make the most of it. Take the trip. Make the memories with your family. You won't regret it. Have a great week.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.